Oh, Captain Grim, darling. What'd you do?
One of the best things about WoW has been how it's allowed players to interact with one another. There's the good, but also the bad.
Mostly the bad.
Players have gone out of their way in order to cause chaos and grief onto others on the other side of the planet. While many see this as
Only if you're on a
good,
PvP
for
server.
me, it's the spice that online games need, and one of
Most
the
of the time.
reasons that has made WoW so special, allowing for various stories to be woven,
Them old clown
drama
suits.
and controversies. So I feel that this unique form of wholesome interaction
good old
is
teabagging.
worth taking a good look at.
Builds
First,
character.
At time. This
Oh.
video is sponsored by Display. Do you ever mindlessly glare at your walls devoid of any motivation and drive? Well, make that
All the
experience
time.
that much better with Display by getting cool metal posters on demand. About to punch a hole in said wall after a frustrating battleground loss? Well,
Yep.
now you won't, because you will remember you put up a display of your queen. Now grovel and apologize. The
That's
Blade has a
right.
unique mounting system that makes them easy and
Grovel
safe
and
to set up
apologize
remove
to your
with the
queen.
additional option of purchasing 3D magnets and stands for your displays. Look at me unbox these displays I got. They're beautiful. There are many different brands to choose from. World of Warcraft, Warhammer, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and many more. With a wide selection of talented artists.
Look, I'm not a Warhammer fan. And I don't intend to be.
Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and many more. With a wide selection of talented artists. You want to give that magic and romantic vibe to your bedroom? Then you should hang up a plate of Gandalf the White over your bed. But wait. For you, there's further
You son of a bitch! You son of a bitch! Yes. Nothing gets her in the mood than a display of Gandalf.
discounts during January, especially if you use my link or code Captain Grim. You can even visit my profile and check out some of the displays I recommend. So, what are you waiting for? Make your gloomy cave a little bit fancier with this plate.
I see I've made some Warhammer fans in my chat upsetty spaghetti. You know what? Warhammer fans in my chat? Gonna cry?
As many WoW players are well aware, probably the most notorious method of being a nuisance to other players has always been directly killing them in World PvP, preventing
Yes.
them from continuing on with their objectives and quests. But there are of course other ways to mess with people in World PvP. For example, a method that became widely
Dispelling world buffs. God damn.
popularized pretty recently
Yep.
in Classic was dispelling, as it became a powerful tool to destroy people's psyche without even having to kill them. See, during Classic, the mental damage caused upon WoW players after years of having to play retail's mind-numbing weekly chores and grinds had made them very conscious of the time they spent playing the game, making them want to squeeze out every bit of value they could at any time.
True.
Hence why preparing for raids became that much more important. And one of the most important parts about it was acquiring world buffs. I'm sure many
Funny thing is, yeah, world buffs were great. You really didn't need them, though. I mean, they were nice if you were, like, trying to parse, but it didn't make, like, the raids unbeatable. But they were nice. But you could beat the raid without them.
Many of you are well aware of them, but world buffs are basically really powerful boons that pretty much anyone could obtain through various means.
There were too
usually
much?
received
Yes.
by raiders right before they would start a raid run. This significance of world buffs made it an easy target for those that sought to inflict mental damage onto the min-maxi raiders. Since,
Yeah.
you know, simply ganking someone for fun is nice and all, but having an extra reason to inflict that much more mental damage is just that much sweeter. Come on, Ultra Slayer XX. You're holding up the raid by 13.4 seconds. Where are you?
I'm right here. Just got my buffs and I'm coming in.
Ultra Slayer? Enter the raid already. What's the holdup?
I'd quit the game.
You lost your world buffs again? You're guilt kicked, I swear. And I know where you live. You won't pay for ruining this raid night. Of course, many
God damn.
organized to gank those with world buffs, putting them in a tough spot. Join the raid and underperform by a few percent and risk getting kicked, or attempt to regain the buffs.
Picking my words here. Parsing is nice. It ain't that nice.
Which probably wasn't happening. So dispelling became a popular option. You didn't even need to kill them. Just had to be a priest.
Yep.
And you didn't even have to be high level. Well met. How about you help me with killing some wolves? Dedication and conviction that compelled these almost fresh priests to suddenly drop all of their low-level duties and then go on an epic adventure across continents in order to
This is some psychopathic shit right here, I tell you what.
reach Blackrock Mountain or Badlands or something and start dispelling level 60 raiders. It was hilarious. It felt so dirty. Even if you killed them, it didn't matter. They had already done the damage. It was
Yeah.
a pandemic.
Like, the
All
damage
these
is done.
low levels in high level areas simply there to be a nuisance and remove their buffs. A lot of people were pissed, crying out for the brutality of the priest dispellers. At one point, a petty GM got upset enough at hearing about a dispeller dispelling people that he banned him, which I thought was pretty
He
ridiculous at the time, and I even made a short video on it. But at the end of the day, it is a form of world PvP, and pretty much
It
what
is.
people sign up for on those realms.
Yeah, a dude actually legit got banned for 6 months for that. I don't know. Do you think the GM's overreached, or do you think deserved? You tell me.
I thought it was hilarious, but eventually
I think that's
after
funny
many
as hell.
dispel buffs and raid groups
I
would
think that's
turmoil
funny as
because
hell.
They would have to spend around 2-4 minutes longer in the raid. Big bad Blizzard had to intervene and slap in this dumb shit to appease them.
And this is one of those times I actually will not say, oh, here comes Blizzard and the fun police. This is actually not one of those times. I know we love to say, oh, here comes Blizzard and the fun police. This is not one of those times. You know what I'll say? This is what I say about a lot of 14 players nowadays. And let the bitching commence. I don't like this. And then you bitch about it enough. And then you bitch about it enough. When it's really not that big a deal. And then what do the devs do? Okay, all right, we'll do something about it. 2 years later. Why did you take that out?
Chrono Boom Displacer in order to allow the sad, mentally obliterated raiders to preserve their world buffs and just activate them at the well. Because truly, that's
not a bad
classic
idea.
plus experience that's worth having in vanilla.
Yeah.
Now, although the case
Bullshit.
of players themselves finding out silly and creative ways on their own to be a menace to society are great, I feel it's also worth revisiting the
Hi, Derek.
occasions where Blizzard themselves enabled players to cause untold obliteration. There have been a couple of prominent times when that has been a thing, and coincidentally, it was all during expansion pre-launch events. The first case, there was
This was the best pre-launch event ever. This was the best pre-launch event ever. Yeah, everybody pissed and moaned about not being able to use the auction house. But you know what? That was the point. That was the point. An undead invasion. Killing everything. Making your life inconvenient. It was great.
very notorious in World of Warcraft's history was the zombie invasion, when it most notably occurred during the Wrath of the Lich King.
It was great.
It was a full-on Scourge invasion with the Lich King's armies invading major cities with extra new objectives to complete.
Good old
But
game cam.
players could now also interact with suspiciously plague-scented crates. Haha, apparently I can touch this. I don't feel too good.
Yeah.
Indeed. The crates would infect the players and turn them into ghouls, causing them to become hostile and give them the ability to infect others in order to grow their numbers. Now, there
It was
were already
great.
swarms of NPC ghouls spawned in various areas, but player-controlled ghouls? Nah, that's messed up. These guys back then were bloodthirsty, I tell you.
Yes.
I've read so many comments where people were
Because these when the chips are down, the Joker was right. Because when the chips are down, say what you will about your community, but when the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
Or like, yes, I like destroying the low levels. Or I'm gonna camp all the low level questing areas. I don't know what they were going through in life, but they just loved the idea of obliterating every fresh adventurer's hopes and dreams.
Yep.
Organizing themselves to intentionally not get their infections cleansed and grow
Because a person has sense. People are crazy.
up in big globs of destruction as they would raid low-level quest hubs, infecting all low-level players and killing them. There would be literally organized battalions of ghouls and groups just camping around some tree while you were trying to quest in Elwyn Forest, and they would suddenly jump out and devour you. This was especially inflated due to the fact that Alliance and Horde could actually interact and read each other's messages while they were ghouls in order to combine their numbers. It was a great event as it progressively got more and more ghouls and Horde could actually interact and read each other's messages while they were ghouls in order to combine their numbers. It was a great event as it progressively got more and more.
They're so happy. They're best friends.
In order to combine their numbers.
They're best
friends. It was a great event as it progressively got more and more dangerous in the days leading up to the launch itself. Streets covered in corpses and sludge. It caused such a stir that many
all of them
took to the forums to complain.
All of them. No. Not many. All of them. All of them.
Horrible this event was, demanding that Blizzard ended immediately, because how are they supposed to find Mancrick's wife when the Lich King decided to invade that very week? Huh?
Hey, what the fuck is your problem? Get your shit out of here! I'm trying to find this guy's fucking wife here!
Like, dude,
thank you.
These guys wait a little while till the event passed before they killed like their 30 Quillbores or something?
Good lord.
No, but for all those nerds, there were lots of people that thought that the event was one of the most fun things Blizzard had ever done with WoW. I guess they just really wanted to make people suffer, which, hey, fair enough. This event in particular went on to be repeated during the Shadowlands.
Yes, they did, and I have to say, for this version of it, it was pretty good. I know, something good that happened with Shadowlands. I know. Heresy. But this was pretty good. I have to say, this was good.
Pre-launch event, making it possibly the most exciting thing about that whole expansion. But sadly, of course, its effects weren't quite the same as, everyone could just fly.
That's why.
But there was another interesting pre-launch event. Indeed.
I liked this one. Legion's Invasion pre-launch. I liked this one. It got you out in the world. You went around with all of the players in your server, and you just found these Legion invasions, and you just fucking killed wave after wave after wave of demons. And then you did what I did, and you leveled all new alts from level 1 to max strictly by doing this at one invasion instance. How? Simple. Make a character, get them to the invasion point, like by having a friend like carry you out there, like on a double-seater mount, okay? Form a big old raid group, all right? Start doing the event. Don't kill the last Legion boss that pops out of there, and then end it. And then form a raid group, and the thing restarts. And then leave it before it's over. And then restart it, and it kept restarting. And you gained EXP for days. I got an Alliance Paladin, an Alliance Warrior, and an Alliance Priest from level 1 to max level strictly by doing this. And then they got mad and said you can't do that anymore.
The Legion pre-launch event, where players in Stormwind or Orgrimmar could eventually begin hearing dark whispers, being persuaded by the Legion to join their side, as they would be debuffed and be granted a whole new hotbar with unique abilities.
I remember this.
They were very reminiscent of Dreadlords, as you could take other people's appearances, turn invisible, cause friendly targets to attack each other, and spread those same dark thoughts onto others. When you did convert enough players, your debuff stacks would deplete, granting you a new ability that will allow you to transform into a huge dreadlord yourself. You'd have over 20 million health and a bunch of busted AoE abilities. A true player-controlled raid boss. Sadly, as powerful as these dreadlords were, after you transformed into them, you had only about a minute to cause chaos before you
like
died
a minute.
horrible death. Though, in their short lifespan, some of these dreadlords had a noble cause. They were on the true path of righteousness, as they desired to make the world a better place before they left it. As they would set their sights not on the Alliance capital, but something much, much more dangerous. The Goldshire Inn.
Yes, they did. They sure did. It was a beautiful bloodbath. It was a beautiful bloodbath.
On major
Oh, we
role-playing
purged it.
servers. The notorious hive of evil and villainy. Their mission was to purge it. And that they did after they barged in on the dozens of role-playing patrons.
Look it up.
So I went up to him and I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, oh. Hey there, big boy. You wanna quickly get on all fours and maybe...
Nope.
After which, they would meet their demise. But one thing that wouldn't be forgotten is their truly noble
That's right.
sacrifice. Goddamn heroes. And speaking of recent things, we just have to mention the hardcore craze. Personally, not exactly my cup of tea, since usually when I level in WoW, I tend to barely pay attention to the game and continuously walk off cliffs and
Yeah, that's me. Is that you?
die. But it did catch the attention of many, as Blizzard also eventually published official hardcore realms for Classic.
Still haven't done
For
this
those
yet.
unaware, the rules are simple. If you die,
Just don't die.
you die. That's it. No corpse run, no spirit healer.
It is a cool concept, I have to say.
It's GG. Your character dies canonically with everything on them. So you can put 2 and 2 together and reach the conclusion of just how much extra grief some players could cause others.
So much grief.
Even before the official realms came around and the player base was simply following the hardcore challenge rules, the chaos had already begun.
Yep.
People were getting creative. Stealth rogues waiting on top of NPCs to bait unsuspecting players to right-click and attack them to force them into PvP mode. Hunters
Right.
leaving their pets among packs of regular mobs while they hid in the shadows, waiting for unsuspecting players to tag them for the same reasons. And of course, the classic warlock method of summoning an inferno and setting it loose onto the others as it turned hostile.
Damn.
It was a mess.
It was a
But
mess.
possibly the most controversial moments had to be when people played the long con and actually went on to join endgame raids in order to sabotage them to get people.
Okay, I will say this. Yeah, the folks that did this, that played the long con here, and like to join up with like in-game raids and then purposefully wipe the raid. Okay, I have to say this. That is beyond dickish. Like that, in my opinion, that is beyond dickish. It's also genius.
Killed. Of course, raiding in hardcore is that much more important since at the end of the day, it is technically the most dangerous.
Would I be
form of
mad if it
combat,
happened to
and
me?
You get only one life, so raid groups had to be extra careful. But unfortunately for them, one mechanic that was hard to avoid was knowing for sure if every single member of your raid group wasn't a complete psychopath. In, for example, this very popular case
Yep.
in Ramus, where the tank intentionally mispositioned one of the bosses in the Four Horsemen fight, causing it to cleave most of the raid group.
Dude, you're actually a fucking troll. Oh, fuck, was that
I get why they're
mean,
mad.
It probably can't get any worse than this. They're gone. And
Oh! Oh my, oh. Oh. It might be psychopathic. It might also be genius. But after hundreds of hours That's hours. That is literal hundreds of hours, more than likely. Double digits, triple digits. Gone. That's evil.
Split second, you carefully spend countless of hours watching your step while leveling to level 60, then plan out your pre-raid gear and finally organize with 39 other people to finally begin the end game. And this motherfucker, this guy
Yes, that
destroys
motherfucker.
everything just like that. It's pretty hilarious. They call him the
Yes.
Fifth Horseman. Apparently it all went down due to internal guild drama that eventually spiraled into this.
Oh,
Many people
shit.
see this and disgust, absolutely revolted that a human being would do such a horrible thing.
Gee.
Salt was abundant. But in my eyes, though it's so tragic, it's such a silly story to be born from it that it makes it all worth it in my eyes.
Absolutely.
The drama, the spice, the backstabbing. Ah, so sweet.
So
I love
sweet.
it. Though this case was definitely the most noteworthy, raid wipes were definitely something to behold on hardcore, especially when there was a hint that there may have been sabotage. On the
So
topic
funny.
of WoW players being a menace, I can't help
And this is why I am not a fan of 40-man raids. I can handle 8. I can handle 10. I can kind of handle 20. 40? Oh, hell no. And this is why my FC gets irritated with me when I have a raid group and there's other people that want to join it. And I'm like, I'm sorry! I don't make the rules!
help but have one particular moment in WoW's history always float up in my mind. The Serenity Now funeral crash.
Okay, this was a cock move. Little bit. This is a little bit of a cock move right here.
A truly controversial thing that I
Yes.
somehow stumbled upon in my early days on the internet and since was embedded in my mind. Same with most people I talk with about WoW. It just seems that
This was a cock
everyone is
move,
well
yeah.
aware of it, even though it happened so long ago, making it possibly one of the most notorious world PvP interactions or griefs
It is.
ever happened in the game. So, a player had sadly passed away in real life.
Yes.
Their Horde guild chose to honor their memory by holding an in-game funeral in Winter Spring. Most of them barely even wearing any armor or weapons, instead taking a semi-roleplay approach. And that is when the infamous Serenity Now made their move. They were apparently a notorious force on their realm, being known for relentlessly PvPing PvE players and messing with Horde in general. Once they heard about this gathering, they very quickly decided it's only right to pay them a visit. In the middle of the ceremony, they all rode up on their mounts and they begun their attack. Most of the funeral goers didn't even stand a chance with their lack of gear. The players that orchestrated the funeral crash would from then on have targets on their backs. Definitely one of the most, if not the most controversial player interactions in WoW's history, for sure. Many argued that what Serenity did was horrible and immoral,
Yeah.
while others simply agreed that PvP on a PvP realm is to be expected. Now, for me, if you kill a low-level player that's questing in world PvP, then yeah, that's bad manners, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's totally fine to do, as the game allows you to do
That's true. You did decide to roll on a PvP server. You did do that.
just that with no drawbacks. This, though, is definitely on another level.
Yeah.
Extremely bad-mannered, and in very bad taste, for sure.
Yeah.
And yet, it really is just how WoW is. There's a strange charm to it, even in this very sad situation. For a WoW funeral, it kind of goes about as one would expect from the game. Chaos. Thus immortalizing the moment in a pretty interesting way, I think. One that has definitely left its mark in WoW's history. Lastly, I want to highlight
Still a cock move. Like mega cock.
something special. Possibly
Like scumbag.
one of the most
Memorable, but scumbag. Sorry.
Lastly, I want to highlight something special. Possibly one of the most unique and biggest WoW exploits that didn't come to be. It actually came to my
Wait.
attention after a viewer contacted me to tell me all about
Is
it.
this what I think it is?
When I read it, I was confused. It definitely sounded interesting, but in all my time being invested in World of Warcraft and being aware of all these silly things players did, I had never heard about this one. I tried to look it up, but no videos, barely any screenshots, and barely any mention on it, apart from some comments on Wowhead confirming that it definitely seemed like something happened. But how could there possibly be almost nothing on it, considering what
Bombs,
it was? Basically, back during Wrath of the Lich King, you would have a quest with the Ice Giants where you would ride on King Yoakum's back. But this is where the interesting part comes in. Through very specific means, you could technically just not do the quest and instead fuck off somewhere else with Yoakum and do whatever
I think I know what this is. I think I know what this is.
the hell you wanted.
All right, minion. Now we must wipe out Orgrimmar.
That is not what we agreed upon.
Shut up.
Oh, okay.
Pepe,
Ah.
the mastermind in question, would use very specific means to overload the game and get it to behave the way he wanted. Things like lagging it out, clicking on the mage portal, starting the quest, and disconnecting at the same time. And upon relogging, he would find that he'd still be on Yoakum's back, but this time in the middle of Ironforge. From then on,
Yep.
the giant could be ridden anywhere, to any zone, as you would have a permanent mount with lots of health that could also attack for you. But the very crazy part about him was that you could use the same trick, but to instead enter instances
Yep.
as well.
I knew it. I was like, the moment he showed Storm Peaks and Ulduar, I was like, was this the thing, the exploit that that dude found to freaking like 1-2 shot some bosses in a raid? Yep.
Yep. Raids, battlegrounds,
Watch
and
this.
arenas. Imagine you get your casual friend to finally try doing some arenas with you, and this motherfucker is your first opponent. Okay, look, just follow my lead, and it'll be fine. We can go on the squishier target first, and
Nope.
What class is that, by the way? What should I?
this was
Yeah.
insane. Not
Yeah.
only super strong, but also hilarious. Imagine seeing this thing running down from the opponent's side in Eye of the Storm. Apparently, when people saw it, they would just jump off from the middle of the bridge because they didn't know what to do. He would
Yeah.
then go on to raid Naxxramas and
Yep.
Icefall Citadel, as he would be summoned in the middle of the unsuspecting raid group, as they thought, oh yeah, we're just getting another random DPS, but instead you get this thing. What? And eventually, also, he would go on to raid Orgrimmar.
Yep.
At the time, Pepe didn't want to reveal to others how he did it, out of fear of the repercussions and getting banned. But after a few days of having fun,
Oh, he got, yeah.
he finally decided to turn himself in willingly to the GMs, who actually had a laugh about it, but still had to give him a brief suspension, upon which the exploit was now fixed. Now, on its own,
At least he turned himself in.
this is an already pretty hilarious story.
It's funny as hell.
But what makes it especially interesting is that this is the single least documented big thing to have happened in WoW. If Pepe had instead chosen to spill the beans on this, you would have had dozens, even hundreds of people.
And you know what? Maybe he knew that. I bet he knew if I tell everyone how to do this, there would have been hundreds of people that would have done this, and it would have crashed the game. It would have broken the game. Yeah, it would have been complete and unadulterated chaos. Yeah.
People riding
I think
around
he
of
knew
King
that.
Yoakum in every city. Maybe even battlegrounds full only of King Yoakums. Well, it's almost about to look like Attack on Titan or some shit. To me, this is almost on the level of ridiculousness as the Corrupted Blood incident or the Kazakh invasion.
It's up there.
But just stopped in its tracks right before it went nuclear. Which then explains the lack of content around it. The lack of footage, recordings,
Yep.
screenshots, whatever. I just thought it so interesting that I had to share it with you guys. And thank you again, Pepe, for coming to me with this. And
Oh, that's
finally, all that is left is the two single most devastating times in WoW's history
You
where
already know.
players have been a complete menace that have
Yep.
caused by far the most chaos and destruction, period.
Yep.
The Kazakh invasion
Kazakh
and the Corrupted
blood.
Blood
Mhm.
incident. These two happenings are so big and notorious though that I've already gone ahead and made separate videos on each one just for you. So go ahead and enjoy. And of course, remember to check out this blade using code Captain Grim. Thank you.
I love Captain Gribb's, you know, his funny videos and stuff, but I love his lore-based videos like this. I love them just as much because he just has such a great way of telling the stories. but mixing in his, you know, style of humor and whatnot, that makes him, that's why he's like the top dog WoW Machinima guy. He really is. He's like the top of the top, bro. Like, it's so good. That was a great video. That was a great video. But then again, it's Captain Grimm, and Captain Grimm don't miss. Yes, sir.